This video may contain offensive language or be frightening to some viewers. Viewer discretion is recommended. What creeps beneath the window? There's something going on with the kids. All of them, not just mine. Joe thinks I have an overactive imagination, and when coupled with the sleep deprivation of the past week, I'm reading too much into things. Kids are always going in and out of weird phases, she keeps telling me. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll start by telling you we still have Mia with us. I told my parents about the prowler and that he wasn't caught. I told them the entire story, except the part about the fact that I know the prowler wasn't human. They insisted Mia stay with us for the time being. As far as she is concerned, she hasn't let her guard down. She spends her time when we are home, trotting around the house, checking on each of us in turn, before choosing a spot near one of us to settle down for a nap. Still lazy, there's no turning that off. She's actually been a little underfoot, but I'm not complaining. I've burned some sage and put lavender and pine on the windowsills, and honestly, it's been quiet since the incident. I haven't slept very well lately, but so far, so good in the random prowler department. It's been really nice outside this week, and the kids have been playing outside just about every day. Homework is light. Even the teachers want the youth of the town to get some good outdoor time before the heat and humidity of summer sets in, driving everyone indoors or to the shoreline during the middle of the day. Tommy and Rose play with Kate, who is 2 doors down on our street, as well as 2 boys, an additional house down, but on the street behind ours. Jacob is in Rose's class at school, and his brother Henry is in 3rd grade. Everyone's houses back up to one another, some yards having fences, others ringed by trees. The spread of backyards between houses is a giant playground for them. The retired homeowners have all expressed that they love watching the group of 5 run back and forth between the playscape of our backyard, to the tree houses in Kate's, to the pine trees in the boys'. It reminds them of when their own children were little. Mia has been going with them, trailing behind Tommy, who always struggles to keep up on his little legs. Late in the week, the heat hit. Temperatures reaching 97 degrees in the afternoon. Mia, as I mentioned before, is a long-haired dachshund, and while I enjoyed watching her hop around behind the kids, I also didn't want her to die of a heat stroke by staying out with them for hours. Life seemed to be returning to normal, and after spending several nights of little sleep, I was beginning to relax. I sat on the deck under an umbrella with my laptop, researching some of the links and leads left to me after the previous post. Thanks again for anyone who read that. I heard the back gate of Henry and Jacob's fence shut, and knowing they would be happily playing beneath the covered pine and oak trees, I went inside with Mia to cool off and start dinner. We made a new friend, Tommy announced on his way in the door, sweat sticking his hair to his forehead. "His name is Stickman." "No," Rose sighed in exasperation. "It's Stickman." Tommy still had trouble blending his consonant sounds together. It was a source of frustration for him, but for the most part, we all understood what he meant. "He's new. He's really tall, but he told me he wasn't a grown-up. He was just really tall. He doesn't like the sprinkler, and he doesn't like going into the sun, so we played with him in the shade." I know what you're thinking, and believe me, I was right there with you. I pulled up my phone and typed "the rake" into Google, then clicked to images. Each image I showed her brought on a negative response. "No, he's not Stickman. He's too fat. Stickman is skinny, like a stick. Ew, Daddy, no. That's a monster. Monsters aren't real. That guy has glowing eyes. Stickman doesn't need eyes, because he only needs to listen and talk. He doesn't care about seeing." I tried the same thing, typing in Slenderman, but she just laughed and said, "No, he doesn't wear a suit. It would fall right off him." Finally, I handed her a piece of paper and asked her to draw me a picture of Stickman. She literally drew a stick figure with fingers. Not much help there, but then she added ears and a big mouth directly in the middle of its head. No nose, no eyes, just a mouth. "He's pretty funny looking, don't you think?" I asked, trying to mask my feelings about the creepy figure. "You don't think he's kind of scary?" "Daddy, it's not nice to ignore someone because of how he looks," my daughter replied with a somber tone. "You know that. Stickman is nice. He tells us secrets." Secrets are a deal breaker in our house. Surprises are allowed. Otherwise, how would we ever hide gifts, plan parties, etc.? But secrets bring nothing but trouble. Rose, remember that secrets hurt people, and nobody should ever tell you to keep secrets from your parents. That's not something we do. "I know," she replied brightly, taking a bite of chicken. "Stickman didn't tell us we couldn't tell our parents the secrets. He told us Mr. Smith is a mean drunk and sometimes hits Mrs. Smith. And he told us Mrs. Smith never had kids because she had a botched aberration when she was a teenager and couldn't have any after that." She struggled over the word aberration. I quietly asked, "Did Stickman tell you she had a botched abortion?" "That's it," she replied. "What's an abortion?" "Something you'll learn about when you are older than 6, I replied shortly, grabbing my phone and calling Henry and Jacob's mum. Ava could tell immediately something was wrong when she picked up the phone. She and I get along very well, and while our work schedules don't often match up, we see each other for school events and try to get together every once in a while for a few drinks. I asked her if she had any visitors over who were talking to the kids, or if she saw anyone when they were in the backyard. I told her that Rose had told me some very private and inappropriate things about the Smiths, and while I had no idea if they were true, a 6-year-old had no business hearing them. The only thing they did while they were here was play hide and seek, Ava told me. At one point, all 5 of them were in the tree. Even Tommy got up onto a branch. There was nobody back there with them that I saw. She promised to ask her boys if anyone named Stickman had talked to them and what he said. I texted Kate's dad, Anthony, to give him a brief rundown and to ask him to talk to her. Guys, I resumed my place at the table with them. I don't think that you should play with Stickman anymore. Telling secrets isn't nice, even when you're allowed to tell your parents. Rose looked at me, her brow furrowed, and her head cocked to one side. He told us you wouldn't want us to play with him. He told us it was because he was different. You told us it's not nice to tell people they can't play with you, just because they're different. Tommy, with a mouthful of carrots, nodded somberly in agreement. Stickman said being different can be fun. He can hear far, far away sounds, and he gets to know a lot of things that grown-ups don't want him to know. Like that the new neighbours across the street are swingers. But I don't see a swing in their backyard, so they mustn't have got a new one yet. We could let them use ours while they wait, I suppose. I gaped at her, too stunned to even form words. She continued in that way that kids do once they start. I'll spare you the details of what she told me, but suffice to say, I can't look at my neighbours the same. After a few more in-depth secrets, I cut her off, telling her that all of that was private information and that I didn't want her telling anyone else what Stickman had told her. I've looked online for anything resembling her story and found nothing. Tomorrow I'm going to see our priest. My family is filled with devout Catholics, and we have some ties to some people who may be able to help, or at least come bless the house or something. I've abandoned the Slender Man and rake leads, at least for now. I told Jo when she came home about what they told me, and she thinks I'm overreacting. She says it's likely an older kid who has a grand old time talking through the fence to the little kids and destroying their innocence. Unfortunate, but not supernatural. I have to work tomorrow, and I made her promise not to let the kids run rampant through the backyards alone. She agreed, only because, even if it was an older kid, the content that he was telling the kids was less than appropriate for them. After locking all the windows and doors and putting the outside light on, I went to finish tucking the kids in. Tommy gave me his normal send-off. "I love you to death," he said, as he linked pinkies with me. I kissed Rose on the forehead. She sighed contently, reached for my face, and gave me an Eskimo kiss. Then, instead of telling me that I was her best, told me, "Daddy, tomorrow Stickman says he's going to tell me a secret about you."
Jimmy, what did the man say?
Nothing.
Did he do anything?
Nothing.
What did he do to you, Jimmy?
Nothing.
Jimmy, we know he did something.